Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our live this morning. Today is day 25 of our 30-day business growth action plan challenge, and I'm happy you've decided to come on. Yesterday, we had a very robust discussion on a risk and risk register and the importance of the risk register for your business. And today, we're wrapping up our week on the talk of about execution, and we're having a conversation about coaching. Now, while I was preparing for this and I was thinking about my days in corporate as a coach and how I merge some of that with the persons I serve now, I started thinking about the growth of this coaching industry and what it is today, and how the word coach is used almost like, oh, I've helped someone, so I'm now a coach, without truly understanding what it means. And because of that, I was reminded of a book that I want to just share with you that I was given to read when I just became a leader back in 2007. And it's the heart of coaching. It's important that we understand that our role is not just to have conversations, but to understand truly, if you want to transform lives, how you need to take this thing. So let me just share. This is a book, The Heart of Coaching. And this was, I got exposed to this book back in 2007. Back in 2007. And it gives a good idea of what coaching is, how you prepare for coaching sessions, just the whole thing. And the heart of coaching is such a good name because it's not, as we go through the live today, you'll understand that the coaching sessions are not about performance and results, but it's really how do you connect and have someone show up greater than themselves, greater. Now that you've seen the results, what do I need to do to bring out the best in this person? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're joining, as usual, I enjoy having conversations with you in our comments field. So go ahead and let me know. I thought through today as we wrap up, because I am all about not making your strategy fail because your execution is failing. And I think when we're able to put all the pieces that we've been discussing this week into our planning, it creates this complete view of what you need to be doing to ensure you're winning next year. Next year. So let's jump into it. So this is the book, The Heart of Coaching. I encourage you, or if you have another book, feel free to recommend it in the comments field. So let's jump into it. Your coaching completes your performance management process. So we were talking about performance management. We've spoken about results and all of that. Today, we're focusing on coaching and how your coaching sessions is going to enhance your performance management process. So I'm not just looking at results and moving along. I'm thinking about what other support can I give and offer to my team to help them to, realize greater results. And I want to say this as well. When you're the CEO and you see someone working hard and they would have been promoted, a lot of times what happens for us is that we promote based on results. We promote based on the skill set that we see. And a part that we miss completely is that performance is driven by more than just a person's ability to do. So they can do, promote them as a leader. They're a leader in your organization, and now they need to lead others. And that is where the gap is. Not everyone is a leader. There are persons who are doers and they do very well, but they are not able to bring others with them. I hope I'm making sense. And that is why this is important. That is why you now need to ensure that the leaders in your organization, they are trained, they are able to coach, they understand the difference between leadership and just doing. Some persons just treat others like machines, if I'm being honest. And you don't want that to happen. And that is why the coaching element is important, because you're going deeper than the results that you're seeing on paper. So your coaching is going to enhance your performance management process, and that's what you want. You want something that's going to build it up. How will persons be generating and creating these results even if you are not around? Without coaching, your performance management becomes reporting only. So we were supposed to generate $100,000. Did we generate that $100,000? And you keep it moving. You don't want that. What you want is more. You want to go deeper because you want those results to be replicated. Without performance management, though, your coaching becomes a big subject. So this is how it works together. We would have created our performance management tracking mechanism during these few days. And what you would do, you were supposed to achieve, let's use sales, $100,000 in sales. When I look at your results, you're 80% there or you're 50% there. We know that that's information that we have. The next step that we're going to take when we're in our coaching session is, now that we know that result, what's the wholesome support that we can give to you? It goes deeper. It's talking about where you're planning on going. Hi, thank you for joining. We're talking today about coaching your team as a part of your performance management framework. If you are new here, I encourage you to, we've been going through 30 days of business planning. As such, everything that we do each day builds on the day before. So if you have missed the other 24 days, chances are you may not be able to follow fully, but you're able to understand the concept. So today we're talking about coaching. If you are a CEO, if you are a manager in an organization, you will understand what this concept is. I hope that's making sense for you. So what will happen when you go into your coaching sessions, you're now talking to the person about greater things. Okay, what's driving you? What are some of your passion? I know you generated this result, but what were you feeling? What were some of the stoppers for you? You're going far beyond the results. And I'm going to go into some of the things that I don't want you to do, or let me not say I don't, the things that are not encouraged and what is encouraged during a coaching session. So that's what it's not. One of the other things that I found, when you go into the coaching sessions, you are being reflective. This is an opportunity for you to show your team that I am not just here to bash you or to congratulate you because of your results. I want to get to know who you are on a deeper level, because the aim is, as a leader, to mobilize and encourage and build your team so they can go to war when you're not around. They're willing to go out there and fight. They know you can sit back and have them lead. You are generating leaders, and that is what coaching will help you to do. So you want to reflect, you want to align on where you are, where you're planning to go, and you're looking to improve and take ownership. Those are some of the things that I found, and I sat down and thought about what I've seen work in this coaching environment, not the new age coaching that I've seen where everybody has tagged on coach to their name. Or let me not say everybody, that's kind of making it worse than it really is. But I've seen a growth in that where, because I'm working with somebody, I'm a coach. Certifications are there and persons are going through it, and I love that for them. So we just shared that without performance management, your coaching is vague. Like, why are we talking? What are we talking about? You generated results, let's work from there. So what is coaching, you might be thinking? It's a structured conversation. Those are some things that I found, and I shared a book earlier, The Heart of Coaching, which helped me way back in 2007, before the coaching industry blew up. It builds self-awareness and ownership, because you are now pulling out of the person that you're talking to more things, not just about the doing, but about who they are. So that is a self-reflecting part of it, where I'm now thinking about, why did I not, or why did I, or how can I build others along the way, right? You know what is needed to continue, for them to continue generating or continue showing up the way they are, and what needs to change, if anything. In your coaching sessions, you're unearthing those things. What coaching is not performance review. You're not going in a coaching session with their performance report to say, hey, that's a performance review session. Your coaching is a little bit deeper. It's not a disciplinary meeting. It's not vague conversations. It's not a surprise conversation. We're going to talk about scheduling your coaching sessions. And it's not a telling. I'm not telling you what I want you to do. And I will show you a table that I created earlier, a few minutes, later, on the difference between coaching and performance review because they are two completely different things, right? You must be intentional when going into your coaching sessions. Schedule your coaching sessions. You both know that this meeting is happening. You have prepared for it. So if it is that you needed to review your performance report, if you had action items from the previous coaching sessions, you're coming prepared. If you were supposed to read a book, if there's something that you were supposed to do, ensure if you did it, I did it and this is how it made me feel, or this is what happened. If you didn't do it, what were your stoppers? Because you're helping them to move to something greater. And that will make you and the persons that you're coaching feel like, you know what, this made sense. I really enjoyed this conversation. And it's not like, why are you here? I've had that experience where we have, but anyway, we'll get into that another time. So prepare. Your team member should know that they're having the meeting, any prior action items, all of that is taken care of, right? Who leads the coaching session? This is one that makes it different from the performance review, right? Your coaching session is led by the person you are coaching, your team member. You are coming and you are asking questions, or you probably would have asked questions already, and the person is coming in to provide their feedback. So you're allowing them and giving them the space to do that. So you're not jumping in and, oh, this is what we're talking about, this is what we're going to be doing. No, you're allowing them to lead. They lead it, they're able to reflect on their performance, or reflecting on why I generated the results I did, or why I'm performing the way I'm performing, why I'm showing up the way I'm showing up in my team. You're allowing them the room to have that conversation. They're sharing what they are seeing. And one of the things you get to do as a CEO or the executive is understand that your vantage point is completely different from the persons you're leading. Your experiences are different. You're coming in with a different mindset, and you give them the opportunity to share from their vantage point, and then you're able to meet them there and have conversations about how, because you're training them, hopefully, if that's their aim, to be a leader, not be in your position necessarily, but you're training them up. And as such, you want to give them an opportunity to share. And I just share that it's not a telling session. You're not telling them that what they are doing is wrong. You're helping them to see if there's anything that needs to change while they're in this environment that they're in. Because how they're showing up may not be different. I can tell you, I've worked with persons already who they were just not a fit for the organization. They were not a fit for the role. They were not a fit based on where they were in life. And they go somewhere else and they shine. They go somewhere else and they excel. So you're not telling or trying to change the person. You're encouraging them to be their best selves. You're encouraging them to show up as who they are and find out why they're doing the things they do. I have had a team member who I was leading at one point in time, and I realized that no amount of coaching would have caused her to perform any better or be happier in the role. And I encouraged her to apply somewhere else. And she ended up going to Japan. I looked for the information for her. She ended up applying for a program there. She went to Japan, did 3 years teaching English. And then she left there and, moved on with her life. And every stage of her journey, she sends pictures. She got married, she bought a house, she had kids, like the whole thing. And that is what your coaching sessions are doing. You're not telling the person, this is what I want you to do. You're encouraging them to show up, if that's making sense. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Now, another thing that I want you to think of now, as the leader, when you're going in, you're asking questions, you're clarifying, you're supporting. The coaching session should feel successful. And in the end, I encourage you to ask that question. Do you have any feedback? What can we change? Is there anything that you'd like us to adjust in this conversation that we're having? You want to make sure that the purpose and the outcome that you wanted to achieve were achieved. You want to align on any action items for the next coaching session. When is the next day? And even though I said earlier that your coaching sessions need to be scheduled, there can be a moment where your team member feels that they need some support, not from a performance standpoint, but they just need some support. You're available. And that is why being a coach and being ready at all times as the leader is important. you are not just there to generate results, you're there to help the person to move forward, right? And they want them to feel safe. I want to know if I feel stuck in this conversation where this team leader I'm working with, I just don't think I can get through to them, or this client, or for some reason I can't seem to wrap my mind around why I'm not performing. I want to, but there's something that's stopping me. We've had coaching sessions where we've helped team members to get nannies. We've organize their transportation life, because it's more than just results. And that's what I want to drive home today. Because if you're not, if you listen, if you don't plug this gap of the coaching conversations, what you end up having is a team that feels detached. My manager doesn't care about me, my CEO doesn't care about me, they just care about results. I'm just giving them results, and they don't take ownership, and they don't love the company. And that's where your people scores go down. You are overwhelmed because you have to be thinking and generating all the ideas, because your team don't feel that you care about them. They're just an employee number. And because they're just an employee number, I'm just performing like that. Whatever happens. My name is not on the company. Those are some of the feedback that you get. And I encourage you, you see the memes and you see the reels and the shorts, and they're funny and they're hilarious about leaders and companies, but they are true. So I want you to think about that. And you don't want it, because you want to make it very structured. You don't want it to be rushed. And that is another reason you give the person time to talk and to share and to lead. And you schedule a time. You're owning it as well. This is not a conversation where you come and you sit back and you relax and you're talking forever. You have a schedule. But at the same time, while you're leading, you're making the person feel as if they have space and room to talk, right? And coaching sessions can take a lot of mental and emotional energy. So even though I don't even have this as one of the points as I'm talking, it comes back to me. Be mindful of how many coaching sessions you're scheduling in any given day. As the CEO and the founder or the executive, you may only have capacity for one. So I want to remind you of that. It will fail if you're not prepared. That was one of the things I saw. If you're avoiding difficult conversations, it's going to seem like a failure. So you may have scheduled it, you sat for the 1 hour, the 2 hours, and it went through. But if you are avoiding conversations, the person who is being coached is going to leave feeling that didn't make any sense. Oh, yes, we have another coaching session. This is like a grand waste of my time. You don't want that. And you don't want to not be prepared. And another thing you don't want to do, you don't want to coach only when things go wrong. Because at that point in time, you may have already lost the employee, or they feel like this conversation is not genuine. You're only having it because of. And especially if you do that continuously, that's something that they're going to be thinking, and you don't want that. And you want to be able to connect with your team. So I know we've been interchanging coaching and performance review, and I just want to leave you with a few pointers. Your coaching is looking forward. You're looking ahead. Performance review is looking back. So you would have had your performance results. So now that you have it, you're taking it into the coaching sessions and you're looking ahead. Is there anything internal? And we would have discussed, I'm not going to go over that. Coaching is focusing on improvement. Your performance review focusing on evaluation. Your coaching development focused, while your performance review is assessment focused. I'm assessing how you performed based on the targets that we set. I am looking how I can develop you as a better or greater, let me not say better, greater individual based on the goals that you have. Because sometimes in your coaching sessions, what you might find is the goals that persons have that you're supporting them with may not be directly related to the job that they're doing, but who they become by taking these things on will positively impact the work. Coaching is conversation led, as you see here, while your performance review is a scoring led. So you were supposed to get 100%, you got 50%. Let's talk about that 50%. Coaching is focused on behaviors and actions, while your performance review is focused on outcome and results. So I hope you're seeing the difference as we go through. Coaching encourages ownership. Your performance review is determining standings. Where do you stack up based on how everyone else has performed? Your coaching supports execution. Your performance review supports accountability. Your coaching builds capability, while your performance determine rewards, promotions, and consequences. So I hope you found that helpful. Do we have any questions before we go? That's what I wanted to leave you with. And if you would like a coaching template, send me a message and I will share that with you. And as usual, if it is that you'd love for us to have a conversation, my calendar link is in the comments. I would love to help you to close this gap if this is a gap in your organization, or if you don't have a coaching framework or a performance management framework, you need to have one. If your team is disengaged, this could be why. I'm telling you, I'm not even asking you. Because if you're not coaching your team, it means that you don't care about them. I want you to think about for a moment athletes. I'm from Jamaica, so I'll use Usain Bolt. Imagine Usain Bolt's first race where he false started. I don't think it was his first race, but one of his races. He false started. That's a coaching conversation. And that is where you see great coaches. Performance would have been if he ran the race and he got a time, they're looking at the time. But your coach now is trying to find out, what was it? Okay, I was anxious. I was in my head. What's causing you to be there? And that is what I love about how Tony Robbins talk about how he works with people and the examples that he gives. That is where your coach comes in. It's not just at the end of the day, how did you perform? Let's talk about this particular thing. It's in your head, and that is why the coaching is internal. So your team needs you to be there for that, because what you give them is what is going to, because it's forward looking, is what is going to help them to generate the greater results down the line. So I hope this helped, guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And I want to invite you to our live on Monday. We're going to be talking about choosing healthy habits. Next week is our final week, final 5 days. And we're doing some great things next week in just wrapping these things up and pulling on some of the pieces. I talk about the screws, that sometimes when the screws are missing, we're talking about health on Monday. And if it is that you are not taking care of your health, what could be happening for you is, if you are not well, as we always say, you can't pour from an empty cup. And we want you to be well so that you can serve your team accordingly. Your team don't feel as though you're left out, or they are left out, or you don't have the capability because you don't have the energy. So I want you to join us. I'm just going to be dropping the link in the comments here so you can register. Hey, I think you joined just when we're about to wrap up. But if it is you have any questions after watching the replay, do let me know. Have a wonderful weekend, guys. And thank you so much for coming on. Bye.